Welcome everyone to another episode of
Kny'tes in Review.
And in this episode, we're going to give you our reviews on the movie Wonder Woman 1984.
And before we continue, we want to introduce ourselves. I'm Dave D. Saint.
Aries9G093.
And I'm what? That's a lot of numbers. I'm Phantom's Mask.
Logan LeBeau.
And Gus J. Swirl, 777.
And like he stated, we will be talking about Wonder Woman 1984. Fair warning, just letting you know, if you have not seen the movie yet, stop the review right now. Go watch the movie and then come back because there's going to be a lot of spoilers. So it's a spoiler alert, okay? So what we're going to be doing pretty much right now is we all have our differences of opinion in this movie. We haven't really learned their opinions about the movie because they just recently saw it. We just finished watching it again. Three of us have similar thoughts of the movie. But we're gonna get to the nitty gritty here with a bunch of questions that I wrote here, and we're gonna kind of dissect what we got. So obviously, shut it off, go watch the movie, come back. If you already saw it, then enjoy the show. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna ask what is the basic plot, and what you guys gives it, and then we're gonna derive from there, and we're gonna keep talking. Okay. Logan, so what was the basic plot of Wonder Woman 1984?
To me, was all that truth conquers all.
Okay.
That literally was, to me, every scene was basically, if you told the truth, nothing would have happened.
Okay. Anybody else has anything to?
Well, I first time watching the movie, so I thought that when I saw this movie, kind of reminded me of the Aladdin vibe. You make a wish, something happens. But no, it's basically the plot. You make a wish, but something else is taken away from you. So it's like, be careful what you wish for, kind of thing.
Yeah,
True.
definitely.
True. Anything else?
Based on what I've seen, everything that I thought was going to happen, happened. So it was kind of predictable, to be honest. There was no surprise for me, except for the ending. Linda Carter showed up. Disclaimer, that was it. Yeah, like I said, like these things said.
So you know anything about the Wonder Woman mythos? Obviously, there was a 70s TV show called Wonder Woman, obviously, and it starred a young Linda Carter, and obviously everybody's been, if you've seen anything to do with like DC Wonder Woman, in the DC fandom, they actually brought Linda Carter, and they have thanked her for starting the legacy of Wonder Woman from whenever she started. And obviously, it wouldn't be Wonder Woman if they didn't have a cameo of her. We'll speak about her later on. But continuing on, we got the basic plot. All right, this question is for Gus J. Swirl 7777. How was Steve Trevor able to come back?
Well, in the movie, when Diana Prince had a hold of the Dreamstone, she says, "I know what I would wish for." Obviously, she was referring to Steve Trevor, the love of her life, who died in the first movie. And you see a gust of wind come around her. It wasn't huge, but it was still evident enough for the viewers to see it. And we knew that obviously that meant that Steve was coming back.
All right. This question is for Najee. Was Diana seeing Trevor, or was she just imagining him?
She was seeing. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain.
So at this point, you can explain how he came back.
Okay, so basically, like my fellow knight have said, that he came back because of a wish that Diana made. But for the audience, we saw Trevor just because, to visually let us know that's who he is. But to Diana, she saw the man that he took over the body of. But the Dreamstone, I feel like when you cast a wish on the Dreamstone, it connected her to him, since it was her wish. So she felt a connection to him because it was her wish. So it allowed her to feel his essence inside the body.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so a little shortly after that, when they met up, he mentioned that he knew he's been somewhere. So that's referencing the comics where the soul of Steve Trevor's still alive somewhere. They didn't touch on where, but so they brought his soul and into the body of an engineer who was living in an apartment alone in Washington, D.C. near Diana, and he found her just by tracking her down through a phone book.
All right.
And so she saw, in her eyes, after getting a few glimpses at him, the image of Steve Trevor, but you know, obviously everybody else, even mirrors, would see him as the true person who he has taken the body of.
Alright.
So basically, the stone restored the spirit, but not the body.
Okay. Alright, this question is for Phantom's Mask.
I'll answer as best I can.
How does this dream stone work?
When you wish upon a star. No, this is the stone has some history to it. I'm still learning the history myself with the whole Wonder Woman, you know, story mythos. It's based on mythology. It was made from some sort of god of. He has many names. The Duke of Deception, the God of Lies, or I can't say God of Mischief because that's low-key. Basically, made the stone basically to have like a genie in a way, but like I said before in the beginning, if you make a wish, it takes something like a part of you, like something of you, like away as well. So like if you wish it, it takes something. Like, you know, I don't know how you say it, but like I said before, just be careful what you wish for. That's basically what it is. It grants you anything you want, but it takes something that's important.
I would go piggyback on what he said, because it's like one of the movies or the myth of a genie. You can make a wish of a genie, but that wish comes with consequences.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like wishing. Every wish has its own has its own price to pay.
It's got problems. The stone's got problems. Just don't touch the stone. That's pretty much
Stone really, it needs something from you. If you saw the movie, The Wishmaster, he says, you want a wish, I'll grant it for you. But he takes something from the person. That's pretty much the Wishmaster series. So that's what this stone is. Okay.
That reminds me of Sabrina, an episode of Sabrina, where she tried to use her magic, but her magic was deemed to borrow other things. Like she tried to conjure an apple. She conjured an apple that actually belonged to a bum that she used. So usually magic comes with a price. That's what it was. Magic.
So who is this dreamstone? Is it who did it belong to?
So
it belongs to a lot of people.
Yeah, but what is the specific mentioning behind the dreamstone? Who did it? Who was it created by?
The Duke of Deceit.
The Duke of
So
Deceit.
the thing is that
Was he a trickster of some sorts?
In the movie, she, Princess, Diana, Wonder Woman, mentioned that the stone, the creator of the stone, this Greek god of some form, had many names. She wasn't specific on what name it was, just that she had many names.
Okay. Alrighty, going back to Logan LeBeau.
Yes, sir.
How does Max's power work once he becomes the Dreamstone?
Well, just like the Dreamstone. The Dreamstone usually takes something small. You don't see what it took, but it's always something small. He took whatever he wanted. Since he was the Dreamstone, he gets to choose what he wanted to take, because he had a voice. So if, like, for instance, one scene, he said, "Do you wish my company to be good?" He said, "Yeah, fine, my company's to be awesome, but I'm taking your stock. I'm taking your company. He took everything from the guy."
So what was happening to Max while he was taking all this
Oh,
stuff?
same thing as everything happens to a battery. You overcharge your battery. What happens to the battery? It explodes.
Yeah. So it
Well,
was
You literally, the thing is, well, toward the end, he wished for all his body parts to be good again, so it doesn't really matter.
but just because he was saying, "Oh, if I need my body parts to be, I wish it." But the thing is, his stuff was still falling apart. Of course, he saw how bad he was getting.
Of course.
Okay. All right. The next question goes to I'll mix it up here again. Phantom's Mask, back to you.
Give it to me.
What was Max's endgame after granting every wish?
What do all men want if you have more power? Just more power.
Yeah.
That's his endgame. His endgame is that he'll have the world in his hands, except for his son. So I don't know if I'm gonna, you know.
So that was like a little subplot.
That's the only thing. That was his go-to. You know, like he'll have everything he wanted, but you know, is that really all you want?
So elaborate on the son. What is the purpose of the son?
He wanted everything. Basically, in the movie, he did mention that.
Sorry, guys.
This is a cut. All right. So in the movie, he did mention that everything he does, you know, he's doing it for his kid. You know, so that's his thing. He wants all the power so that if anything were to happen to him, it will be passed on to him. It's basically like that, like a little legacy, you know, passed the torch. But he wasn't really thinking when the stone, you know, like really corrupted him, made him this all-powerful being in a way. In the end, when, you know, like Diana really like showed him, you know, how his, you know, everything will end with the lasso, showing him about his son.
What's the subplot with his son?
To answer your question, to add on to the answer, for plot-wise, the son was his tie to humanity. So, because that's what helped him get back to himself, was his son.
If it wasn't for her.
Well, yeah, but it's also his son
But it was
that showed him, guide him back.
Oh yeah, in some
I
ways.
thought that because when she did what she did, she probably put like this is like all these images, like this is what's gonna happen. You see, it's gonna come down to your side. What are you gonna do?
Basically, like his son was like Diana was the catalyst of it, but his son was the reasoning for it.
Yeah. So it's like a father-son touching story thing there.
What did you guys take from that? I know that Gus, JStar777, was rooting for the whole story with the father and the son. So what did you take from it being that you are a father? I know that you two are all of you guys are fathers, but you took it more like in.
Right, so I don't know if it's just because I am a father, but what I really appreciated in the movie was them recognizing that the sacrifice one would make for a kid that they truly love. As a parent, you know, you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have the true love of your own offspring, then you would give up anything. You would give up your own life, even the power, as Max had, all for that one kid, because a kid shouldn't have to wish for your love. I'm sure he heard his son when his son wished for his dad. He probably felt dirty at that moment in time, and you know, renounced his wish.
Alrighty, Gus, this question goes for you. I know it probably didn't even answer it, but this is where the questions are going to start getting a little out there, because obviously we all have certain feelings toward this movie, and some people hated it, some people loved it. So here's one question that we never got answered, but maybe you could give me a little kind of an idea of what is going on with it, or if something happened. Did the FBI ever follow up on the gemstone after dropping it off at the Smithsonian for inspection?
So yeah, we as you mentioned in the movie, they stated that the FBI wanted Barbara, who plays Cheetah, who ended up becoming Cheetah, to look into the origins of the Dreamstone. And no, the FBI did not follow up as far as we know at that moment in time. I'm sure they're going to follow up with it in the next few decades.
In the near future.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Look, how does the Smithsonian not figure out Diana stole a government jet?
Well, she didn't steal it.
They borrowed it?
Diana didn't steal it.
Who took it?
The one who took it was Maxwell.
No, they went into the Smithsonian and they took the jet. Remember they were looking for it?
He took it off her desk at the Smithsonian.
No, I'm talking about the jet.
Oh, the jet.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought you said gem.
You wanted
I'm sorry.
I
I could have sworn you said gem. But
no,
they noticed when she took it. They were chasing her. You saw the security guard got up.
They noticed, but how did they not figure? Because she walked into the Smithsonian. Nobody saw her walk in. They got into a plane.
Well, that's because she works there.
Yeah, she
works there.
Yeah, so then you think it's probably the trust?
They were like, oh, they're maybe showing her the guy something,
True,
you know?
true.
Yeah, she's even in the comics. She's worked as in the comics a little different, as a secretary when it comes to working in the Smithsonian and various museums throughout the world.
Yeah.
They even show her working a little bit in the first movie at the beginning of Wonder Woman in a different museum. So she has access to all sorts of facilities and museums throughout the world, just because of who she is.
So being that you guys are kind of well versed when it comes to the Wonder Woman comic books, this question goes alongside with the other question that I just asked you. Did Diana and Steve return the jet they stole? What happened to it? So
I don't know. In the movie, they didn't explain.
they
it.
never explained it. So is that a plot hole they left open? Like, did they just over skip it?
They probably overskipped it. Probably if you get maybe when the DVD comes out, there'll be like an extra deleted scene or something explaining what
So
they
do you
part
guys
did.
think that was actually a good thing to do as a director, like Patty Jenkins,
Well,
to over skip something?
I don't know because in the movie,
Is it important?
That's the thing, because in the movie, and the reason why I'm a little confused about that question, she spoke about having to have turned something invisible, which was a
The
cup.
cup.
She says she only did it once to turn that cup invisible 50 years ago,
She lost the cup.
but she lost the cup. Now here's the thing, now she made this plane invisible.
I just got that. So she turned the cup invisible,
Yes.
and it stays invisible forever. So now the plane is invisible forever.
Maybe she lost the plane.
Maybe she'll lose
Or
the
she
plane.
keeps the plane.
So this is how the invisible jet got created. I thought it was just for the moment.
No.
So
I'm
then-
glad you can't see her though, like in the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon
You
she
can see
saw
her
her sitting
sitting
down.
flying through the air, sitting down.
And that's when they made her
But
completely
wait,
invisible.
but
Yeah.
that's just another question. But here's another, like a little confused question too. We've seen the end part of the movie. She's flying.
Yes.
Does she really need that jet? And if so, where is it if she's flying?
I think she could use it, or maybe eventually make other jets invisible for her future maybe teammates.
I'm saying maybe she kept it somewhere that she like needs to save a whole bunch of people.
But for what he said, that wouldn't work out. It wouldn't be necessary because she could just make that plane invisible too.
Yeah.
So this question went right with your beginning thing that you were getting ready to answer. Why did Steve Trevor's watch jump to life momentarily?
Well, obviously because they were referencing the watch that Steve Trevor gave Diana towards the end of the first Wonder Woman film that came out 3 years ago, where he gave it to her right before he sacrificed himself and saved her. So when she made her wish, we saw the gust of wind, and then it cut to a quick scene of the watch that she still had on one of her shelves in front of a picture. It started ticking, tick, 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 tick. Obviously referencing the coming back of Steve Trevor.
That he was the witch.
Yes,
That's what it was.
that was a kind of confirmation, some sort of way
Confirmation.
of confirming it for the fans rather than just assuming what she's wishing for.
All right, Najee, this question is for you. Thank you. After 66 years, why is Diana still hung up on Steve? Do you think that she has been single for 66 years?
I think so, because it seemed like she merged herself into her work. So, like she said, that she doesn't get out often. She's rarely out and about. So why she's hung up with Steve? I think it's been her first love, and when it comes to your first love, you're always hung up with it. And
I believe that
it's
because
also
of her being Skira.
and it's also the fact that he was the first man she had sex with, so that's still something important, especially to her faith and her belief that before she thought you didn't really need a man in the first movie, but then after she had sex with Steve, she says that men are good for something.
Yeah.
So he kind of imprinted or made an impact on her life for
Yes,
66 years. And being that she is half God, and she comes from another place, I guess that love is probably stronger than us humans.
It's probably respected.
I'm sorry, but I mean, there's a lot of people who fall in love and their loved one dies, or maybe they break up and everything, they move on.
Or she felt guilty by moving on, and this is why in this movie he gave her permission to finally move on, because maybe that's why she didn't move on, because she didn't get that confirmation, that closure from the first one.
Now, if I can add on to that.
Yeah, go on.
It just goes to show that the people who are watching this video, if you're Amazonian or a god of some sorts, that true love, does last long.
And if you are a god, Aries are here.
Oh, stop.
See,
All right,
wait.
so
But my thing was, you stated in the beginning that she was immersed in her work, probably. I'm gonna state one. She couldn't have been, because if she was, then she would have never caught the beginning scene when the guys were stealing museum pieces from the
well,
place.
that was probably that's what she considers her work too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's
probably has
a
more
hero.
than one job, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a Smithsonian professor, doctor /
So this is a question
Indiana
for all you
Jones.
guys. This is a question for all you guys. If you actually heard anything on the movie about it, who is Alistair's mom? Besides Nami Face, who just drops her son every other day to her son.
That is a good question because the kid does look nothing like him.
He looks Asian. He looks
I
like
feel like
Asian.
he's
He's
Asian.
like a Filipino.
He doesn't have a kid in the comic.
Maybe he has a love interest.
That's the thing.
So he has no kid in the comics. Not
So,
even the
not
new
that
52.
I don't
So,
remember.
I don't know about the new 52
Yeah.
or about Rebirth.
Yeah,
what
that's
they
different. That's
stated.
a
Yeah,
different-
because it's a different universe.
But he never had a kid back in the. He never had a.
But I think he had a love interest at one point.
He
though.
did. Oh, this brown hair girl.
So it could be
I don't remember her name.
who was mentioned before as Maxwell Lord's love interest.
Probably.
I think adoption goes a long way.
Yeah, it could be
Maybe,
adoption.
maybe. I mean, they always use stuff to fill in
Yeah,
plots.
because I don't think they
to
ever
for the story.
mentioned the mom. I think it's just that,
They said it was, it's your weekend.
yeah, that's it. That's the only thing they ever mentioned about paternal.
Okay. They fill in plot holes like that and stuff just to make the story a little richer. All right, question for let's see who's gonna get this one. Logan, look up.
Yes.
Why does Diana let Barbara walk home alone by herself after a man has just attacked her in the dark park?
For one simple thing, she can't show off her ability more.
Yeah, but she should accompany her.
She should have, but she could from afar. She just showed her that she just threw a man half down the street almost. And if she
Well,
wants
she
me,
knocked her out.
it gives her the ability. It gives her the ability. Hey, how'd you do that? Show me now, please. Like the questions will be asked.
But
at
that's
that
a
point.
question that because us as movie buffs, we want to make a movie work. So we try to come up with all these ideas in our head
Of
of
course.
why this and that and everything. But do you think that was just something the director forgot?
No,
Or
no.
did
No.
it-
That was just some of these scenes are basically for the Barbara, the character, for her to realize that she's weak. That scene was for her to be like, okay,
Because if it happened in
There's
real
real
life
safety.
today,
If-
and a woman gets attacked and another woman saves her, she's not going to leave her by herself.
Oh, no, of
She's
course.
actually going to walk her home, or they're going to call the cops, or they're going to get a cab or something.
Unless she wasn't that
Well-
far from her house. We can't assume how far she lived. She could probably see, because that
That's-
looks like a pretty big sidewalk. You can kind of look down what's going on.
And that's
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
if she even has an apartment, because she ended up back to
she
her
going back to her.
office.
Yeah, she
That's
She
what I
could
was
have been
gonna say.
sleeping in her office as her.
Yeah, she went there afterwards.
It's crazy how we can assess the situation, but not the average person, because we're nerds like this, and we could put stuff together, and we'll try to make it sense for us. Like I always try to make the X-Men series make sense for me, even though it was all over the place. The same thing with the Transformers movies. I always try to make sense of them. Okay, this one goes here, this one goes here. Oh, but there's a part in here. But you know what? It's like I try to make sense of it because I'm a nerd. I want it to be justified in my mind, but not the average person. A person watches this movie and they'll be like, "What the heck?"
Well, I think that the director wanted to make it look as if Wonder Woman couldn't resist. As far as danger comes, what happens. You just if you're a hero,
Was she stalking her?
I don't know, but that's the thing. Like if you're a hero and you hear danger, are you gonna resist that?
As far as we know, Superman can hear stuff. Daredevil can hear stuff.
She
But
has a pretty
she's-
keen sense of hearing too.
So
She's not a
was
human.
if she was like at a club at that moment, I was like, "Oh snap!" She started.
I don't know, but I also don't think that the average fan would also question everything as much as we do either.
I mean, I
They,
guess
they may maybe if they're an adult who has dealt with that kind of situation, but most people are not gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's not nice."
Alrighty, Phantom's mask.
X-Men.
Was Wonder Woman wearing the metal superhero outfit underneath her clothes the whole time? Because out of nowhere, she's inside the little car, and all of a sudden she takes it off, and she's wearing a little metal
You
suit.
know, honestly,
I know Spider-Man does it. I know Superman does it.
You know, oh, you talking about the golden outfit, or I don't know.
No, her little metal outfit.
when they were in the
Absolutely.
car.
Absolutely.
But that's like a little uncomfortable. Is it a metal outfit?
She
or
did
could
the
it be
same
like
thing in the first
it's-
movie.
I
She
honestly
just had it underneath.
Yeah, she did. Remember when she caught the bullet in the first movie, and she was wearing the glasses like Clark Kent. She was wearing the hat like Steve Trevor and the overcoat as well. And she blocked the bullet. She had her gauntlets on, so she
It
always
just
wears
goes to
them.
show that danger lurks everywhere. Be prepared. You never know where it's gonna be. So that's why she's always just like Superman. She's always gonna wear it. You never know, unless she's going out. But the thing is that even when she's wearing those like almost see-through kind of dresses, you can never tell. But you can.
I'm
You
sure some
never,
actresses
you never
are
know.
wearing
You never know. You know.
She might have it in the trunk of the car.
She may have it in her, her
like
purse
Batman
or something.
Forever when he
Might
had
be like
it
the
in
Flash.
trunk of the car.
Open the ring.
Or
Yeah.
Iron Man, a suitcase.
No,
Okay.
it won't be that. It would just be his,
Oh, yeah.
character.
All right, this question is for all you guys. Obviously, we saw it. Can Diana fly now?
Yes.
Here's my thing, David, if I may. Go ahead.
I don't think she could fly per se,
I think she glides,
because she grabbed the cloud, she grabbed the lightning,
and she grabbed the
and
plane.
she just threw herself.
But here's the thing. She did all that, but at the very end, as Gus,
Yeah, she was going straight up.
She boosted her speed like Superman, so
Yeah.
we don't know exactly if she flies or glides. She probably.
I think she flies at that point. I think she's gonna get the hold of it more
Maybe.
because she teased that she doesn't have a good hold. She'll never understand flight like Steve does, but she seems to get a hold of it. She does ride the lightning with her
Because
lasso.
Steve told her, he was like, you just grab a hold in the air.
Yeah, but I think that's what everybody does. Even Superman, they learn how to control the air around them, and that helps them move around the atmosphere.
What do you
Yeah, pretty much what I said.
All right, this is for Najee. What happened to the man Steve took over? Like, what happened to that whole time period that he was there? Was there any family members looking for him, or maybe he had a love interest?
I
Did
don't
his
think.
cat die?
I don't think so, because like Steve said, he only had portraits and he only had pictures of himself around the
okay,
apartment. So he was probably narcissistic, maybe a model on the side, because you never know what he was. But I don't. His spirit, if you believe in the Chinese culture, as in limbo, that his spirit, because two spirits can't live in the same body, so his spirit was probably in between, while Steve Rogers' spirit.
Steve Rogers.
Captain America. But while the other spirit was hosting the body, I believe that the first spirit, the actual guy's body, was somewhere sleeping or just
Wow.
somewhere.
If you've seen the movie The Host, that's everything you just spoke about, where an alien is taking over this specific body while the spirit is stuck inside. So the alien's taking over and living, using the body while the spirit's like, leave me alone, until finally they take the host, which is the alien, out,
Or
and the spirit can take it
if you ever seen the TV show Lucifer, I don't know if they. I'm gonna get to that point. But what out of all shows, I don't know if maybe they mentioned it. Maybe you guys can help me out. I don't know if they mentioned how the body that Steve took, what actually happened to him. That Steve actually got into that particular body, but maybe he, the person that that died,
It's like, why was he chosen?
why? No, I'm saying they didn't really explain how that person, he actually got into that body. I don't know if that person died for a moment, and then that's how Steve's spirit was able to go inside that body. That's what I said. Remember, Lucifer?
Okay. Like how he became accessible. Maybe he was momentarily accessible for some reason. That's why he chose that body.
Exactly.
It could be
Or
a
it could be a future descendant of his.
or a family member. Something. Yeah.
True.
At the center.
Because he kind of looked like him a little bit.
Future-
He kind of looked like him a little
Goes
bit.
against
Yeah,
what she said.
When you first see
Well,
him
I'm
from the
disagreeing.
back, he had the same body type and the same
Right.
structure and everything. Alright, so this question goes for all of you guys again. What happened to Barbara Minerva at the end of the film?
She died. Goodbye.
No.
No.
Well, she so I checked. I went with the subtitles and I confirmed through a few different websites. she didn't renounce her wish. It sounded like she didn't renounce.
No, she just looked up.
So I know Logan mentioned before the possibility because Maxwell Lord renounced his wish, therefore renounced a lot of the other wishes. But the thing is, she had stacked wishes.
She made a wish before.
Right. So she had stacked wishes. So the wish that she got taken away was the cheetah, but she still had the Diana Prince. Which I think she's gonna be.
Because that was a stone.
But here's the thing: the stone was inside Maxwell, right? So when Maxwell renounced all his wishes, it made everybody renounce theirs as well. She didn't renounce. We didn't see her renounce anything, but we don't know if it renounced all her wishes.
Right. We don't know. That's up for speculation. Because she could still be like Diana and have those Wonder Woman-like powers and abilities, and maybe have an obsession working towards becoming an apex predator again, like she does in the comics.
Randy Orton. No, I'm joking. There was a thing that I read that Patty Jenkins was gonna shoot if she didn't. I don't know if she did. Supposedly, it was either a shot or probably be a deleted scene where. In the mid-credit scenes, there's supposed to be an ending scene where Barbara Minerva comes back, and she is supposed to be the main villain of the third film, if that ever gets going. But
we just got an announcement.
They gutted it, so we don't know if it's gonna be added in the Blu-ray. So, although I said it and I read it, we don't know what they're planning on, especially with the reviews and the stuff that's going on right now.
All we know is that the way it ended with Cheetah kind of like gave me the same resemblance like Killmonger and
it's like an old
the Black Panther where no, because you love Black Panther.
Did you point out?
Because you love Black Panther. You can't. Okay.
Because I'm black. That's
no. Don't start. We're online. No, I love Black Panther as much as you do, but you're a fanatic. What I was trying to connect there is that they were both looking into the horizon, and it was kind of beautiful. Only except she didn't renounce her wish, so we don't know.
All right, so who haven't asked it?
Ask me a question. Come on.
Let's do it.
I'll come back.
No, ask me now.
Okay. So
What's your favorite color?
Did Barbara Minerva kill a guy?
No.
She whooped that guy's butt badly, and we never see him again.
The homeless guy?
The homeless? No, not the homeless guy. The guy who's the rapist.
No. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Because no. She did whoop his ass. That I can honestly say, and it was very.
She did with pizzazz.
She did it with pizzazz.
Oh, it doesn't say she did whoop his ass, or did she did it with pizzazz? I don't know.
She whooped that man's butt very well to look like he did die, but he didn't die. Okay. They wanted to. I guess that
was he moving at the end when the
yeah, he was.
He was a homeless man.
Kind of
moving, but that could be right before that. Or he could be alive. We don't know.
The director only showed us that scene, that
just to let you know that he was
just so for us, the audience, could see that he's still alive.
Didn't die.
But we never know what happened after.
He didn't die.
We know it was the same bum before who came and asked her, Barbara, what are you doing? The same one?
Yeah, same one.
She walked in.
And from that moment on, we knew that when she made the wish to become like Diana, a piece of her goodness was gone.
Alright, Logan LeBeau. This question is for you. Is Barbara, because I got this feeling too, is Barbara Minerva bisexual?
Wait.
Okay,
wait. Before you answer that question, what made you ask that question?
Number one, I got the feeling right off the bat, the way that she used to look at Diana, she was very, she admired her, and it was almost like she was kind of like nervous, but at the same time kind of flirty with her at the beginning, but then afterwards we do understand that she's into Maxwell Lord, so it's kind of like this I got this vibe. I don't know why I got that vibe.
For me was I think she looked up to her.
Like
she admired her,
like a little girl.
Not like the fool and Gaston.
No, like basically like the little girl admiring like the
little black girl in the mall scene.
Yeah, in the mall scene, the little black girl, she was admiring her.
Oh, so it's kind of like Jamie Foxx looking up to Spider-Man.
Basically,
right.
Basically, that's how I see it.
It's like Peter looking up.
But Jamie Foxx was a
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a father figure. She probably looked
I don't know why I got that vibe from
No,
her.
on screen it looked like that a little bit.
Yeah.
It looked,
But
you
then
gotta
again,
understand,
nowadays,
everything looks like
everything looks like that. Like, oh, somebody has a friendship with somebody, like, oh man, they want to sleep with each other. It's just the way that movies are made nowadays.
It can be as easy as a handshake. I can just shake your hand.
It's made
for a
to
long
look
period of
gender
time.
fluid, I guess.
That's what
It's
I get.
gender fluid or
Have a nice day.
or sexual fluid or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Gus, this is for you.
Yes.
Will we ever see Cheetah again?
Yes, of course. We're definitely gonna see Cheetah again. In the mythos, she always seeks to experiment on herself. So I'm
Who
sure-
is Cheetah in the comic
So
books?
4
to-
people have played the character of Cheetah. 2 of them being the main Cheetahs. Barbara was the first and the main person to play Cheetah in the comic books. A little bit different. She kind of experiments on herself because she didn't have the funding. They also explained that same storyline in the animated series. She didn't have the funding to experiment on other people, and people wouldn't take her tests and human trials. So she had to do it on herself, and that's how she became the character Cheetah. So she will be back. I think it's just not going to be through the Dream Zone this time. She's going to obsess and find another way.
Another question:
Like more
Is Cheetah Joker to Wonder Woman as Joker would be to Batman?
I mean, she's definitely one of her main.
She's one of them,
enemies.
not the main.
Wait, no,
No, I don't think she's a.
I think she is the main villain.
Is it
of Wonder
Ares
Woman.
the name?
No, Ares is the.
Ares is the
Oh,
god.
come on. You know how many
He's
gods are
everywhere.
in there?
Yeah, no. I think
But-
Cheetah is. But she becomes. She's not always a villain. That's the thing.
Yeah,
she becomes.
the
She
icky
becomes
part.
a friend. She's a frenemy of Wonder Woman.
So my last question.
I think she
my last question.
Yeah, it's
She's like
What?
Yeah,
She's
she's
kind of
like
like a
Catwoman.
Catwoman. You'll never know what she's into. Never know.
Okay. So last question on that whole thing. Is this origin story of Barbara Minerva Cheetah comic book accurate, or was it?
In a sense, it's just altered a bit.
Yeah, it's modernized.
They've used it in different variations. The Dreamstone at times brought other people back. It wasn't citrate like it was in this movie. It was made of ruby, and when Cheetah Barbara
Who's
had a,
Ruby? No, I'm joking.
No, so it was a ruby
Ruby's a
Dreamstone.
demon.
Isn't
So-
that girl you?
She will be back. I don't think it'll be through the Dreamstone, of course. It'll be by other means.
Shazam could have probably just.
So this question is for the group again. Who is Asteria
I would like.
besides Linda Carter and her? little
Asteria is another name that the director wanted to choose because Wonder Woman was already chosen by.
cat?
So they had to make a name. So Asteria or Asteria?
Asteria. Who is
Asteria.
Asteria?
Asteria is the woman who made the Amazonians leave Earth to go to that island.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
She protected Earth. All the Amazonians gave the armor to her.
so
They built
So basically, she was their Wonder Woman.
basically.
yeah, so they mentioned some of the greatest warriors in the first film, but in this film they focused on Asteria, and as we saw her at the beginning as a statue at the end of the Olympic race in the first scene of the movie, they said, okay, to be a good person and a good Amazon needs to be like Asteria, our greatest warrior. She's not the greatest Amazonian. They refer to the greatest Amazonian in the first one. And of course, when like in the first film, they mentioned that the Amazons were made to help mankind, but when mankind became greedy because they were influenced to do wrong, and they went with that nature of themselves, the Amazons were forced back into Themyscira, but the only way they got away was because Asteria held them back as they all fled back to Themyscira. And of course, she had the armor that she was built with, the armor of the rest of her fellow Amazons. She was an Amazon. She was just a greatest warrior at that time of the Amazons.
So, question: is this a feminist film?
Yes.
I don't.
It's not. No.
I know.
But I'm sorry.
Because they made the villains in that little scene. It was all men fighting women.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
on
they
the
refer
side.
to mankind. It's just that men fought the battles back then, as far as how
Because
public
we
that
all
was.
know that during the first film, when the first film came out, Black Widow came out as well, and there was this like rush of female-led things,
Which was beautiful.
which is I'm not nothing against it. I consider myself a feminist at times, as long as it's done right. So I'm wondering if does this continue the whole feminism issue.
I don't think it was
Well, I mean,
anything of an issue in this film. There was nothing pro or con towards feminism.
it just goes to show that Wonder Woman is a great superhero, female superhero. Yeah.
Because I like Wonder Woman. I like her as a superhero. I love the fact that she's leading the pack. I know that Black Widow's on her way with her
I like
film
how we're
as
talking
well.
about the Marvel and this with these secret.
Well, I mean, this is nerd talk.
Okay.
So, Black Widow on her way and everything. We're giving women more of a chance to do bigger and better things on film. One of my favorite at the time when it was coming out with Wonder Woman and Black Widow was the movie Battle Angel Alita. You can consider that a feminist film too because it was led by a female who was, although she was a robot, it was just a female empowerment film.
I didn't feel that at all.
You what?
Go ahead.
You didn't feel that?
No, I mean I didn't feel it was a female empowerment. Yes, but I didn't feel it was a feminist film.
No,
per
well,
se.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was a feminist film, like in per se, because in the way we're meaning it, I don't want it to mean
You
sound
mean
negative.
feminine-led in a positive
Feminine-led,
way?
because in a positive way,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
putting women
definitely, yeah.
in the front lines and carrying the movie with females.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had females lead. Angelina Jolie has made movies that she's
Saw.
led. We've had other females who led action films and stuff, and they've done really, really good. They've done, huh? Yeah, Ripley was one of the #1 females to. We should have a podcast where it's just all female movies and just talk about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that, guys.
Yes.
We're gonna do that.
Wonder Woman.
But we're gonna continue with this because I don't really want to talk too much about it because I feel like we're gonna be giving too much away. So Logan LeBeau. Did Wonder Woman waste time saving the world near the film's end just for a cool outfit change?
I think she only put the outfit because she knew she needed it.
How did she know if she didn't even know that Cheeto was all powerful yet?
She knew Max was though.
So she really needed that outfit though?
She was dealing with
Because she
It's like what
had
you said- it's like what
renounced
you
her
said.
wish.
Be prepared.
In the movie, just like how Gus was going about how what was her name?
Assyria.
Asteria, how she was the greatest female warrior, out of all the Amazonians. She only wore that armor. Asteria. What was it?
Assyria.
Why can't I get the name right? Asteria.
Asteria.
Asteria had that armor made from the fellow Amazonians to to battle for the mankind, between mankind and Amazonians. So she wore that battle because of that war. In this movie, there was a similarity war that was going on of all mankind. So she thought the best way to fight this battle was to be wearing her armor in this great battle.
Yeah, I mean, she was going to be facing somebody who was imbued with the power of the stone, which was imbued with the power of a god. So obviously, she wants to be well equipped to face that.
Because so far he hasn't gone up against her. He never even fought her.
Well, this god had the power to control all of mankind. So there you go.
And you saw how much trouble she had even getting near him, even touching him. When she came up close to him, she couldn't land a punch.
The waves were hit.
Yeah.
Pushing him away.
Najee, are we to believe Wonder Woman,
Yes.
Wonder Woman's gold armor, held back an army of men, but could easily be destroyed by a Catwoman?
Actually, yes, because
It held back all these men, but all of a sudden she's like,
you also have to remember. Hey, my answer.
Sorry.
I'm just saying.
he's gonna answer, and then we all play.
Yes,
our
let me speak. Peasants. So I'm going to say you also have to remember that she also had the strength. She also had Wonder Woman's strength too.
Okay.
Like back then she was dealing with men, human men. So of course that was going to not destroy the armor. But Barbara also had
Barbara.
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 My bad. Barbara.
Cheetah.
Cheetah.
Cheetah's
Well,
girl.
she didn't even call herself Cheetah in the movie at all.
No, she didn't.
So
That's
can
good.
we say Cheetah if she didn't
Yeah,
call
we
herself
know
Cheetah?
she's Cheetah.
We know that, but she didn't say it. So
It's like
just-
Dark Knight Rises. What's her name?
It's like Catwoman.
Cat. What was it?
Catwoman never said.
Hathaway never called herself Catwoman. But we automatically knew she was
Yeah,
going to
but yeah, pretty much, like I said, she had the strength of an Amazonian, so that's why she was able to destroy the
She had
army.
double strength. It was only strength and strength of that predator.
So basically, to touch
Maybe.
upon what he was saying, the armor of the Amazonians could probably be penetrated or damaged by a
Somebody
power similar
strength.
to that.
be. So Superman could destroy it.
I don't know.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
The Kryptonian is
I don't
stronger
know.
But did,
But I
did
can't tell
Superman
you.
and Wonder Woman around the same strength?
No,
No.
it's not.
That's
no.
why he could pound her and she'd be like, oh yeah,
First
I
of all,
like it.
Batman.
I like it.
PG.
I like it.
First of all, Superman may have that, may win that battle, but Batman will always beat Batman.
Batman was like, I can't do it. I need
But
I
technically,
need to kill him.
Kryptonians are weaker than Amazonians because Kryptonians only get their power under a red sun. Amazonians are born with power of the god.
Isn't it crazy how
No,
supposedly
just her.
Oh, she was the only one who was
No,
treated
but
like
I-
Zeus?
She's the daughter of Zeus. She's the only one who's
But
the daughter
then
of Zeus.
the Amazonians look like
They were
powerful too.
made by
They
the
were
gods.
made by God.
I mean, we were all
You
made
know,
by God.
Nice.
myth.
Mythology.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
talking about
Alright,
DC mythology.
yes.
Yes.
J4777. How is Diana able to broadcast to everyone in the world simply by lassoing herself to Max Lord?
Okay, so we know Max Lord. I'm sure some of us questioned how he was going to be able to be touching everybody on Earth through the particles being emitted through the satellite to other satellites and broadcasted back down to other televisions. It's not like they're touching the televisions, but although every television does emit some sort of wave on its own spectrum. But he wished when he first got there to one of the fellow soldiers, he says, "Don't you wish this works for me?" So because that's how he would, go about any mishaps of it not working, just because it's not physically touching them. He made sure that somebody wished for him to be able to be successful in broadcasting and having everybody make their wishes. So, in turn, because Wonder Woman was touching him with her lasso of truth, obviously we know it does more than make people tell the truth. It allows people to see the truth. That's why she showed Steve Trevor, and that was reiterated in this movie, like they did in the first. So when she was touching Maxwell Lord with her lasso of truth, she was speaking, like she said, to everyone else, not just Maxwell Lord. And in turn, they saw the truth of what they would be losing, and that's why they renounced their wishes.
Nice. Anybody want to add something to that?
Yes,
We love you long time.
the truth always wins.
Truth over truth, yes.
Alrighty. That's what asked the questions. The question was to you.
What was his name?
Where is the Dreamstone now?
Dreamstone now, well, there could be theories on that. It could be gone forever, or it could have gone back to where it was, on that golden ring.
So do you think it went back on her desk?
I think it went back on that golden ring for one simple reason, is because in the beginning of the movie, Barbara tells Diana that this stone was everywhere. It was passed on everywhere. You see something not one person tried to destroy. So
True, so it probably went back to
But
her.
then again,
So does that mean that it went back on
On that-
Maxwell Lord's desk?
I think it
Because
went
fell
back on that
apart
golden
in
ring.
this
But then
movie.
again-
It did say you have to put it around.
yeah, whatever that
So do
golden
you
ring
think
is.
that Wonder Woman took the ring because they looked at it and she read it?
She probably took it.
Okay.
but then again, no one embodied
Reviewed it.
Yeah, no one made themselves into
Yeah.
the thing. So
Well,
it looked like he just blowed up, like
But
ashes.
look at Avengers. What they did with the ether stone. They condemned it in the stone. And then when they put it inside the container, it wasn't a stone no more. It was the gas again. So it's magic. You don't control magic.
It is magic.
Alright, so this final question, obviously we all saw it, so now you guys gotta tell me what you guys thought after. Did you notice the man at the end of the film was the same man that Steve took over?
Yeah.
Obviously we all noticed that. Now my question is, what do you think started from that? Do you think because she started talking to him like, because he said, why don't you take the person that I'm in right now? And she said, oh no, I will never love again and everything, but toward the end, it looked like she was looking at him with a smile and she liked his style.
Well, here's my
You think
theory.
there could be something there?
Here's my thing. I think that when Trevor said what he said before, she reviewed her wish,
recanted.
I think when she saw this guy again, you know, in the snowy winter, it was beautiful. She had a moment. She saw him.
But when she had a mullet.
No, she had a moment. But I've noticed that when she saw him, she noticed memories of Steve when he was inside her body. But I guess it opened her eyes more up to know that, you know what, I guess it is time to move on. Maybe not with that guy, but like I said, like I'm going back, she only saw him, like the way she was staring at him, she was only, you know, like going back to the memories that she had with, you know, with Steve in his body, but that's it.
You know what I think it could be? Some of Steve's essence lived on inside of him. Because once you're inside of someone for a while, because he was in his body for a while, some of that person's personality does, you know, stay inside the person.
Anger?
So
But
it could be that.
she didn't really go after him. She just looked at him with the memory of Steve.
Because you also have to remember, he had Steve's fashion sense. So he picked the same outfit. Because remember, he had a lot of clothes. Why did he specifically pick that outfit that Steve picked out? I felt like it was because of something remains of him stayed in the body, and maybe that's what she drew. Yeah, drew to.
So what do you guys think? Do you think there's like a possible future for them too?
I think if they do a third film, they'll probably depend. Maybe they'll do the whole leap year thing again, like they did with this one. What, 60 years difference?
Or maybe to
So he
2020.
probably died.
I don't know, because this movie was in 1984.
The last one was what, 1940 something?
They
No,
might
it
go
was
to the
20s.
present.
20s.
But then again, the Justice League was present.
And from what I read, they're actually giving her a pretty dope action sequence in the Justice League movie, but that's besides the point.
So to answer that question, I don't know if anybody else is going to answer like the way I'm going to answer it now. We won't know, because again, this movie was back to '84. Justice League is coming out, but that's in present time, so we don't know.
They could have dated, and he just died off.
Could have
Or
been.
they
They
separated.
might say, show some picture of them together.
Yeah.
Maybe they became friends. Of
Obviously, this is all speculation.
Yeah.
We have no association with Warner Brothers or any of the people with DC, so we do not know what they're cooking up, if they're cooking up anything. Because all we know is that Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins are doing Cleopatra now. So that's a totally different story of a Macedonian, not a Themyscirian. But Cleopatra actually existed. But continuing on, do you guys want to add anything to that last question?
No.
I wish you a Merry Christmas.
All right, now the final thing. Now is where you guys get to put your opinions and what you thought. We will leave ours for the end because obviously we have. But I want to hear them. What did you guys think from seeing the movie right now? What did you guys think right off the bat? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you feel towards it?
I didn't see the movie yet when it came out on Christmas Day, but going on Facebook, I've noticed there were some people that were talking, their opinions, and I want to say like 70% of the comments that I read were all bad. A lot of people have their own opinions. I've just seen the movie today. I don't think it's all that bad. I think it's okay. I think it's pretty good. That's just my opinion.
For me, I had a choice to watch Soul or Wonder Woman. I chose the one that had the better reviews, which was Soul. But after watching Wonder Woman, watching it during it, it was slow, I would say, because I was falling asleep. But based on what I saw, I enjoyed it. I did not see what other people saw. It was slow. That's the only thing I saw. It was just slow. But I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed. Some people didn't like the CGI. I loved how she ran.
This one over here.
But as a overall, it did not disappoint because we had disappointing DC films in the past.
Like Green Lantern, what was up with
Let's
that?
just say Wonder Woman has, redeemed our hopes for Justice League.
Okay.
All right.
But
Okay.
yours.
He's gonna get
I
explosive.
have one easy thing to say it. I've said it before, and I think I said it to you, I think. If this was the first film, it would have been bad.
Yeah.
This is the second film. It did better than the first by like that of a margin.
I don't think it.
That's how I see it. Because it wasn't a bad film. It wasn't a good film. But if it was the first film, we would have never had a part 2.
Well, the first film, she was battling a god.
I know.
The second film, she was
This
battling
one they made it more
a god
human.
of some sorts.
This
No,
was humanized.
that's one thing with the issue that people are doing. They're comparing the second to the first one. I feel like you can't do that because the time period when the first one came, all the allegations with the producers, networks, and stuff like that, woman has been speaking out, and then you had the first woman producer and a woman lead who has done successful. I just feel like the time period doesn't match up to the success.
To me, the time period's not the problem. My problem is forget the first Wonder Woman movie. Imagine this was the first one. Would you watch it again?
Yeah, actually, I would.
I mean, I would own it, but I don't think I would.
I wouldn't do it.
Out of watching
If this was the first one, it would be
like honestly,
horrible.
right now, as watching it with you guys, if you noticed, I was on my phone half of the time.
Yeah, we can
looking up for research for our podcast because I would pick up things here and there, and obviously when Gus would get excited or when you guys get excited, I would get excited. Then I would share my thoughts on something else, and then go right back to my phone. Because the thing is, when I first saw it, obviously I was excited, and on the train going to my sister's house, I was mad excited. As I watched the movie, I'm like, I think my level of excitement increased to its maximum when I saw the opening sequence in the Olympics. After that, everything was just dwindling, and all that stuff. So I'll give my point of view, but I'm going to leave Gus for the end because I really want. We spoke about it, and I liked his thoughts. So obviously, I saw the movie. I felt something missing. Like I liked the movie for what it was. A lot of people are trashing it. It wasn't a bad movie. It, like you said, it wasn't a bad movie, but it lacked a lot. There were certain things, like a lot of these questions that I just asked, are a lot of things people are looking like, why this, why that, why that. We saw a review by Chris Stuckman earlier. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Or was it, yeah, and he was 100% accurate on a lot of things that he said. And if you guys want to watch that, we'll watch it later on or another time. But he pretty much said why this, why that, and a lot of the questions that I asked today. It just could have been avoided. One of my things was, I guess it was built up so much in our minds and it was held away from us for so long that by the time we actually saw it, we had built up here and when it was only here. So when we didn't get up here and we got this, we were like, is that it? That's all we wanted? Like, he loved the CGI. I thought the CGI could have been better. They ripped the movie Cats the musical because the CGI was supposedly really bad and it looked like Sonic the Hedgehog when it was first released, that little character. That's how I felt. If you liked Kristen Wiig's version of Cheetah, the CGI, then you would definitely love Cats the musical because it was very similar.
I also feel like with Cats was kind of different because it's based on a Broadway show in which they use cat suits. I guess that people didn't like the fact that why fix what's not broken? Why did they choose to do CGI?
Well, instead of just putting all the padding on stuff, they wanted to try something new, which I thought was pretty cool.
How that happened.
But then again, we're talking about human people as cats, so like people really dissected this movie and they tore it apart.
Yeah, that's just like how can you make something look better flying wise if that's not realistic? They probably with all the money they have, that's the best that they can do, you know.
In the end, Wonder Woman, the things that I take away from it, the bad things that I felt was it was really slowly paced. Obviously, we learned that from Batman, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises. You only see Batman in his actual costume a certain amount of moments, but half of the time it's Bruce Wayne. So I didn't really like feel too out of that. You know, I'm like, okay. But in here, we only see Wonder Woman at the beginning, and then we see Wonder Woman at the end. And then at one point, she's just in this little eagle outfit, which I hated. But right off the bat, I thought the movie was. I'm not gonna say it was the worst. I'm not gonna say it was the best. I'm gonna say it was okay.
Yeah.
I think we saved ourselves.
It would just be watchable for you.
To watch it, it's not one of those like movies that I can watch over and over. There's Baz Luhrmann's The Romeo and Juliet. I can watch that movie 1,000 times.
Why?
And love it because of the material. They stayed true to the material, which was William Shakespeare's book, and they changed little things about it. But when they made it modern, I thought it was an artistic piece that it rivals any other movie that based on. Huh?
What was the plot? We're not talking about that.
Yeah. But okay, so yeah, that was my whole idea. I thought it was an okay film, wasn't really, but hopefully we do get a part 3 and they learn from their mistakes.
Oh, they said they got greenlit for part 3.
They left a lot of plot holes that they should answer because I feel like they rushed this. The movie was definitely rushed. It was
So
something that we
were
really
living,
spoken about.
We're living in a tough time. So I guess this was their their moment to. Just
We've
bring-
been spoiled with the TV shows because the TV shows takes their time telling us a story and unravels into something beautiful. So when we see a movie, but no, this was
We expect the same thing for the
we
movie.
expect the movie to be the same way, but we're like, okay, well, the
only have
TV
2
show
hours.
would have done it better.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever. Now we give Gus the open door.
I kind of mixed feelings now, and it's ever changing, I guess. But so, seeing this movie for the second time with my fellow Knights, I was able to dive and dwell on it more. I did at times go on my phone as I was watching it because I had already memorized the scenes, and I just wanted to
watch it and you guys.
No,
So
but
guys,
I enjoyed it.
the movie dropped on Christmas. Gus J477 got the privilege to watch this movie a week in advance
on the 15th.
because he
Bastard.
walked into the theaters saying that he was claiming to find information, but he was like, welcome to the movie. Sat there while we're over here sucking our fingers,
Anyways,
not understanding what the heck is going on. But then again, I called it, and Logan LeBeau came out and I went, no,
That's right,
it's
no.
not going to show the movie.
They did it. They did it.
If
They
Wonder
did show the
Woman
movie.
won, and he was the only
You
lucky
had
one.
to walk in.
anyways.
Well, you had to win something.
So it was a good opportunity, and I appreciate that. I felt blessed. So the movie, as far as it being a movie, it's like David Santiago said, it's not the best film in the world, but it's definitely not the worst film in the world. I would definitely put it somewhere around 60-70%, and I would watch it again because it's a superhero movie. Who doesn't love a superhero movie? Compared to the first one, it's not going to be a long comparison, but it didn't have me dwelling on the essence of, man, like I'm being moved by this movie as much as the first one did. The first one had me in tears, pumped up, jumping for Wonder Woman. I was flying in the sky, man. But it was still a good film. I enjoyed watching it with my fellow Knights. I would watch it again just for fun, maybe with some snacks this time and stuff like that. But it was good. I do appreciate some of the double meanings that I believe the film portrayed. How it explains that the world may want to offer us one thing, and we may want to be selfish or have certain wishes granted to us right now without working for them or getting them from the right people or places. But instead, when you could recant those evil desires within yourself, just as Wonder Woman did, it wasn't an evil desire, but it was selfish. Not bad selfish, but it was her being selfish. She did not want to recant her wish because she wanted to keep the person she cared about most near her. And I get that, but sometimes it's about letting go of the things we love most so we could become stronger and notice the true power in us. She obviously had her power from Zeus, her father, just as I believe we could see the true power from our Father in us once we let go of our evil desires. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a movie worth checking out. There's a lot of good meanings, and like Maxwell Lord stated towards the end, you never gotta wish for the love of your father. Just saying.
So thank you, Gus, for taking us to church. Hallelujah.
Gus, I love how so nicely you shaded. You shady.
No, by the way, I got that that double meaning message from a fellow friend named Matthew Cordero. He kind of opened my eyes to those double meanings.
Alrighty, so that was awesome. This has been a review on the Wonder Woman 84. We are the Knights of...
Whoa. Let's get it all together, yeah? Alright, guys, we are the Knights in review.
And we just wanted to share our, obviously, our opinions on the movie Wonder Woman 1984. Because there's a lot of negativity going on based on this movie. As you can see, we are nerds. I'm over Marvel and DC. I do get excited for both. I love DC more. I don't know what you guys feel.
I love them both equally.
I like Marvel because
look.
I love both.
Alright, so if there's nothing else that you guys want to add, then we could
I just
put
want
this
to ask a
episode to a close.
One more question for all of us. I'll even answer it. What is your favorite Easter egg in this film?
Oh,
Wait,
honestly, I didn't.
I
I don't remember any
to
Easter
be
eggs.
honest.
yeah.
You said the thing
There
with
was a lot of Easter eggs.
You said the
But
double
to me, which I'm surprised you didn't notice it, because it was our generation. The Superman 2 logo for Nuclear Man was in it.
I have the movie, but I've maybe watched. That's probably my least favorite one of them. But isn't it like a star?
The sun.
The sun.
When she in the mall, when she swings down to save that girl, that little platform was the sun.
Oh, okay.
That was
I
reference to
wouldn't have
Nuclear
caught
Man.
that because the thing is, number one, I hated that movie. That was the worst.
Is that where he lost his
the
powers,
Quest
right?
for
Wait,
Peace.
if you hated it, why you have it?
Superman, the Quest for Peace, because I have the collection.
Yeah, I have
The Quest for Peace was just, ugh. It was bad. Yeah, no, I didn't catch that. Anything else that you caught? But didn't you say something about, you were saying something, you guys didn't see the Easter egg of
For
something.
Black Adam.
For Black Adam.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Two pyramids.
The Twin Peaks.
Baldia, something.
It's basically the town that he dwells in once he comes back from his eternal prison that he was trapped in for about 5,000 years or so.
Okay, anything else?
No,
I mean, there's a
Did you guys hear like the theme of Batman or something now?
Yeah, the theme song from Batman vs Superman is in there.
Didn't Hans Zimmer do the music for that movie
Yes,
too?
and this one too.
Okay, so that's why it would be
He's like the go-to guy for DC.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, my biggest thing was again the beginning with the Olympics that they ran through. The music done by Hans Zimmer was very moving. So I didn't feel it quite as much here, but when I had my headphones in the train and I'm watching the movie on my phone, the music was what moved me in that whole race from the Olympic thing.
Okay.
I gotta say the one of my favorite things of this movie was the score. But then again, when you saw DC fandom, when they did the little intro for Wonder Woman 84, they wanted Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot went to meet up with Hans Zimmer, but Hans Zimmer wasn't there, so they went and they actually played. I don't know if you saw the DC fandom intro.
Nice.
They were playing the thing, and just to hear.
When I heard that in the movie theaters,
It's beautiful. It's like very moving and literally, I'm not run by scores or music, but when I hear music that is very emotionally driven, like Danny Elfman does that a lot with a lot of the. Is it Danny Elfman? No, James Horner. I think it's James Horner, the guy who does for M. Night Shyamalan. Is it one of those guys? His music is very driven and emotionally, and you get emotionally invested on it. Danny Elfman does a lot of that too with Tim Burton films. So I believe that a movie can be a success or a failure due to its score. I say Hans Zimmer did a very good job with Wonder Woman 84. I give that definitely 2 thumbs up for the simple fact that that's what made the movie more likable. But the movie wasn't all that. It just
right. I mean, but there was definitely some scenes in it and little Easter eggs, and of course, tiny, of course, the cameo with Linda Carter. That kind of just had you at least keeping your attention watching the movie.
Now, my question
the Invisible
is,
Jet, though.
The Invisible Jet. Well, because the thing is, okay, we've known about the Invisible Jet in the cartoons and the comics. We've known about her flying, the video games and all that stuff. And then I remember thinking about it. I was like, wait, doesn't Wonder Woman fly? And then all of a sudden, when they incorporated that in the movie, I was like, oh, that's so awesome. And then obviously they throw Linda Carter as Asteria. Now, my question is, will Asteria have a bigger role in the next film if they do?
I think it's
Well,
open.
Patty Jenkins stated that she wanted that character in part 1, but they couldn't really do much, so that's why she's in this one. And she wants to do more. Like Linda Carter, she wants to do more scenes in the movie Wonder Woman. So we just have to wait for part 3.
Maybe
Mentoring him.
Yeah, we'll never know till we get there.
Now, my question is, will this be the last one? Because Gal Gadot says she's willing to do another ride. So that, like,
I think there'll be another one.
I mean, usually when an actor signs up for a superhero picture, is usually a 3-picture deal. Then afterwards, they go into negotiations. Being the fact that, or sometimes now they're doing 6-picture deals.
Yeah.
Being that they want the person to carry that face for a very long time.
True.
Now they're going after younger people because they want to get more movies out of them. Wasn't it stated that Tom Holland was supposed to do 6 films, and now he's doing one last one? So they're probably going to negotiations.
Do Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, and the 2 Avengers, and he has one more. That's 6 films. And after that 6 films, they're probably doing another
Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. This is the 3rd one that's coming out.
Yeah, and then the Avengers.
Avengers, he did 3.
2.
No, because he was in Infinity.
Don't forget Civil War.
Yeah, but that was filmed back to back.
And he was in Civil War.
That was filmed back to back.
Yeah, but they isn't that?
That's split for us, but that was filmed back to back. Just like Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows was filmed back to back.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Because they said
It'll get
they said
extended.
there's only one film left for Sony to take back Spider-Man.
Oh no, but so
Now my question is,
they're
already in negotiations, or they already?
No, they already in negotiations. And they want to do it again.
Yeah, they're gonna extend.
All right, before we get off topic and
Yes,
start talking
yes.
about all this other superhero stuff, we did the whole purpose was Wonder Woman 84.
Yes.
And any last tidbits that you want to add
This
before we
movie
close?
is good if you're thinking about watching it and you're not too sure because you're reading comments. Just watch it before you let other people get into your head. It's not that bad.
Check it out.
You know, it's a pretty good movie.
All right, so
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
we all agree
It's bad.
it was an okay film, not great, but okay. And go watch it for yourself and give your own opinions. If you like our podcast here or our video, YouTube video, make sure to hit a like, subscribe, drop comments, whatever. If you like us, if you don't like us, we like the feedback. Also, listen to our Kny'tes in Review.
Wow.
Knights of the Round Table podcast, which you can find on Spotify.
Right.
You can find on all our social medias, Instagram, Facebook. You can go on Anchor.fm. Also, we have a Wrestling Endeavors podcast that talks about all the WWE stuff and other things that we talk about, like AEW, Impact, whatever the case may be. So yeah, just definitely follow us on Instagram. I am Dave
We'll
D.
put our names down in the description below. Make sure
Wow.
you follow them.
Yes, I am Dave D. Saint. It's Dave_D_Saint, or you can find it under Dave D. Saint or David Santiago. You'll definitely find it. If you want to play video games with me, right now, like I always say, I'm only playing Dead by Daylight. I am located under Ariel Dean 81. Ariel Dean 81.
Aries Najee093 on all my social media, Twitter, Facebook, and I'm about to have a TikTok, so watch out in the Twitch stream coming this way.
We're also planning on a TikTok for us and the thing, which it was you in charge of. We'll work on.
I'm in charge of TikTok. Well, my name is Phantoms_Mask. You can find me in IG and TikTok as Phantoms_Mask. You can't find me anywhere. You may have some luck finding me under your bed, but that's all you'll find me.
What is with you guys? That is where you room.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You gotta find me on Instagram, Facebook, your room, like always.
You can find me under your tree, maybe. You might get lucky.
As Logan LeBeau, and if PlayStation is Logan6336 LeBeau.
Oh, we're doing PlayStations.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then you'll find me on PSN as Captain_Riggs. Captain as for CPT _Riggs_.
And as they stated before, you'll see my name in the description as well, and it is Gus J Suero 777.
Alrighty, and we were supposed to do this. We were supposed to do this before Christmas. I know it's late, but we wish you
A Merry Christmas.
Happy
and
Hanukkah.
Happy New Year.
Happy birthday.
Happy New Year. Bye bye.
Happy
Take care,
Hanukkah.
man.
Happy Hanukkah.